Studio 5 in New York City. This is the News at 6.
And it's Tuesday night. Hello, everybody. I'm Ernie Anastas. Thank you very much for joining us again, and we certainly look forward to this time together each night. I will check your top stories and another messy forecast for you in just a few minutes. But we want to begin tonight by continuing our week-long series on education today and tomorrow. We've all seen the figures. Our children have fallen behind other countries in a number of subjects, and educators are now trying some new ways to change that trend. We'll examine a couple of them today, starting with a controversial one. Jen Lammers continues.
At schools all across the U.S., the classroom and the way kids are learning has been changing. To a certain degree, that's expected. But in the last 5 years, one major change has been the center of controversy: Common Core Standard. Adopted in 45 states, it's a national set of benchmarks designed to prepare students for college and the workforce, but it's not federally mandated. Cathy Sapeta has been against Common Core since day one.
Structurally rooted, it is absolutely inappropriate, and it will never work. It's impossible.
Sapeta, who heads up New Yorkers United for Kids, is part of a coalition pushing for a full repeal of Common Core Standard here in the state. Her argument? Education can't be one size fits all. She says Common Core overlooks factors like standardized testing.
The teachers and parents and taxpayers across New York have actually gotten to a point in 2014 where we had over 65,000 test refusals in a movement where we call I Refuse.
In New York, testing under Common Core Standard had a rocky start 2 years ago. Teachers complained they didn't have the new materials. In the end, only 31% of 3rd through 8th graders met the standards in language arts and math.
When the education department and the regions first introduced this, they said it was going to be a little bit like a ripping off of a Band-Aid, and that's what happened. And subsequently, not just the scores have started to go back up, but also, more importantly, the experience of the teachers and the students is getting better.
Supporters say Common Core is doing exactly what it set out to do in New York: fix the problem of students failing school, especially in the city, where 2/3 of students need remediation when they get to college.
The key now is that the standards are in place, they're starting to show results, and they're getting better, and to repeal them now would be essentially to throw teachers and schools back into chaos and to, frankly, a status quo that wasn't working.
It's kind of a complicated subject.
It is.
We know that. Tell us about some of the scores.
Well, by year 2, the scores actually went up 5%. And supporters also say that around 70% of teachers say they're happy with the core curriculum. So they think that it's getting there. It's not there yet, but it's in the progress.
And that debate continues as we know.
Exactly.
Jen, thank you so much, okay?
Sure.
I want to continue talking about our subject of education. I want to welcome Eva Moskowitz, founder and CEO of Success Academy, charter schools, and former city council member. So good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you know, I mean, I know about your passion and your commitment to education. This has been your whole professional life, so what you're going to say is really important to us and also to the people who are listening. We know, we talked about this, that we still haven't grasped, you know, the global competition out there, and you say it's really tough and we're behind. Why are we behind? What can we do about it? Let's fix it.
We are behind because other countries, even less developed countries, are ahead of us. And what we need to do is we need more rigor in our schools. We need less video games, and a little more reading.
Yes.
And we need parents really deeply involved. I'm the mother of 3 children, and we can't leave education to the schools. We have to partner as parents with our schools to get it done for our kids.
And I know that you've also talked about bringing back that passion that young people need to want to learn and to be enthusiastic and excited about. How do we ignite that? I mean, how do we get that thing going?
Well, we talk about it as falling in love with school. We need kids to love coming to school, and too often schools treat children as a captive audience.
Yeah.
And that leads to boredom. That is not good for children. So we've got to ensure that schools are inviting, and we have to motivate children, you know, just like we motivate adults.
Right.
Children need to be motivated to learn, and one of the best ways to motivate a child is to give him or her a great book, a page turner.
A page turner. And you do that by checking the details, as I know you've talked about, making sure that you select the right books, select the right program for these young people to get excited about it.
Yeah, there are a lot of books that are schlock and are not great literature. We want the Shakespeare of children's literature. We want the great mysteries. We want the great science books to interest our kids. And if a child is interested in dinosaurs and you don't have any great dinosaur books, you shouldn't wonder why the child doesn't love to read. We have to have kids fall in love with books.
Right, and isn't it really a thrill when you see young kids really just light up when they're excited about what they're learning and they're interested in school? It's great for them, it's great for the parents as well. You talked about parent involvement too. That's very important, very important.
Absolutely. The days are gone when parents can think that the school can do it all. We have great teachers in this country, but they cannot do it all. We need to partner as parents with our kids. We need to take the video games away, and we need to sit down with our children, read to our children. We need to ask them questions. The best way to teach your child vocabulary is to use high-level vocabulary with your kids. That's something very simple that we can do at home.
Right, common sense. And I know at the Success Academy you're having great success too, because you're applying a lot of these concepts that you're talking about.
That is true. We believe in common sense. Schooling has gotten a little complicated.
Yes.
Where everybody thinks that they have to have a PhD in order to do schooling. Good schooling is about creating a loving, nurturing environment, having rigor. We have to demand of our kids to really think.
Yes. Challenge them a little bit.
The problem is, if the kids are getting 100%, it's too easy. And we need to make the math problems more difficult. And we're a little bit afraid of struggle in America. And we have to grow up, and we have to not be so afraid. You obviously don't want your child frustrated, but you do want them to struggle a little bit because that's how they learn.
Put a little pressure on them in a nice way, and get them enthusiastic and excited about learning. Eva Moskowitz, delight to have you on, and congratulations for all the good work you do and so many other educators out there who are really trying their best to help our children.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. All right, I want to remind you, too, that we're going to continue our education theme all week. Tomorrow, we head to high school to see how technology and specialization have changed how teenagers are learning. And then on Thursday, we'll focus on college and trade schools, how young people are making educational choices based on personal finances and today's economy. And coming up on Friday, going back to school, the continuing education boom as more adults decide to switch to new careers. It's Education Week with great guests every night. And coming up next, New York. Then and now, we're going to show you the amazing Public Library's Time Machine. We're coming right back after the break.
Closed captioning brought to you by your local Lexus dealer.
I'm outside.